Brewers love two things. One is drinking Negronis, and two is giving a beer a punny name. Brewers cannot get enough of good puns. And this week, we're drinking a beer with an exceptionally punny name from Emporium. I'm Luke, and this is the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week Drink Along. And this week we're drinking a beer from Emporium, and it's called Boppeldock, and it's a double bock. I should probably take a moment to point out, if you're watching this and you're not a Beer of the Week subscriber, you might not really know what this is all about. I'm saying this because I spoke to a journalist a few weeks ago about a beer-related article she was writing. And when the piece came out, she described me as a beer reviewer. Well, I suppose I am a beer reviewer in a way, but more than that, I'm a bloke that runs a shop on the internet. And each week, our classic subscribers drink along with me and discover a completely different beer that they haven't had before. So we have beers from all around New Zealand. Lots of them are packaged just for our members, like this one here. And it's a great way to discover the stories and the people behind different interesting beers. The subscription costs $8 per week. How it works is you get a 6-pack of different beers. You're not allowed to drink them. You can only drink one beer per week on a Thursday night. And the next week you do the whole thing again. And if you don't cancel your subscription, every 6 weeks you get a new box with 6 different beers. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, well, it's a bit weird that you're just watching a bloke drink beer on the internet. So get involved. Go to beerjet.co.nz and sign yourself up to a subscription. And you can discover wonderful historic German beer styles like this Doppelbock. Oh, that is lovely. So last week we heard a bit about the story of the Finneys, Paul Finney and his wife Laura, who have a beautiful small brewery down in Kaikoura where they have mini golf and escape rooms. And a cracking brewery that you can go and visit and drink in the brew pub there. They do pretty small batches, so you don't see a lot of Emporium around the country, outside of that Canterbury sort of region. And you really don't see a lot of it packaged. So I was really happy when Finney gave me a call and said he had a canning run lined up, and would we like any beers for our brilliant members? And I said, yes, absolutely. Let's get a couple in there. So Finney is, as I say, a very talented brewer, obviously. Before that, he was a talented home brewer and had a really great home brew shop called Finney's Emporium, which is where the name Emporium comes from. And in a story as old as time, people told him his beer was fantastic and he should level it up. So a few years ago, they did exactly that and leveled it up and set up in Kaikoura, just in time for the earthquake. But that's a story for another day. But it's if you're in that part of the world, you should definitely pay them a visit. And what I really like about Emporium is that they do the sort of beers that I'm into. A nod to our history of brewing and looking at interesting beers that aren't around so much these days. With the classic subscription, which is what we're talking about today, you'll notice that there aren't that many hazy pale ales or hazy IPAs. There's definitely a few in there because there's some fantastic examples. But the reason I created Beer Jerk more than 8 years ago was to share interesting beers and interesting styles with people. And these days there are certain beer styles, hazies, that are so popular, they just are very overrepresented because it's what people want to drink. It's become a bit of a fashion these days with enthusiasts on the Facebook forums and online talking about how much they hate hazies. But yeah, brewers make hazies because they like them, but also because that's what sells. Not many people go to the supermarket and buy a Doppelbock because they haven't heard of it and they don't know what it is. So I really appreciate brewers that do make these less marketable, sellable styles. And because, yeah, as I say, it's what I love drinking, it's what I love sharing and chatting about. This beer is a Doppelbock. So it's related to a bock, but quite different in several ways. So a bock is a German dark, strong lager, and this is a stronger dark lager. And the style Doppelbock emerged about almost 400 years ago at Paulaner, which is a brewery that is still around to this day in Munich in Bavaria. and it was a monastic brewery. And the story goes that the Doppelbock was first created as liquid bread that the monks could drink during the Lenten period when they couldn't really eat that much. So it's a very malty, very chewy, very rich beer that I don't know if it could act as a meal replacement. Probably wouldn't recommend that as health advice to skip eating and just drink Doppelbock instead. But if you were in that situation, you're going through Lent, you can't eat much, I probably would rather be drinking this than a light Helles or a Pilsner, for example. There's just so much to enjoy with this beer. I suppose, and this particular example, it's I suppose in common a little with a barley wine, with a beer that's just that much bigger and that much more going on with it. It's a lovely beer to drink as the weather's getting cooler and to nurse it over a bit of a longer period. This one is 8.5%, and yeah, I have drank quite a few Doppelbocks in Germany from those historic classic brewers. And this is it's bang on style. It's really delicious. Yeah, as I say, it's a beer to nurse. Really, it's something you just like keep sipping on all night long, and a beer that would go well with rich food, I suppose, like good roasted meats. I think it would go well with cheese, obviously. Some good nutty cheese this would pair nicely with. So the Paulaner Doppelbock that they first brewed, I think it's about 380 years ago, was called Salvator, which is sort of like salvation, which is in honor to the monastic religion and honoring God, but also literally as liquid bread, it was their salvation, and to keep them going. And the ator prefix at the end, so Salvator, is something that has gone on to become a tradition in Germany and with Doppelbock brewers all over the world. That there are over 200 different beers in Germany that have got that ator prefix at the end. So if Finney hadn't have wanted to go for his wonderful Boppeldock pun, he could have chosen something with the ator. So maybe that will be something he'll work with on the next Doppelbock he does. Yeah, not a lot more to say really, other than this is delicious. I would love to drink a lot more Doppelbocks, so hopefully if there are any home brewers out there or brewers, commercial breweries, that are wondering what style to brew next, a Doppelbock's a pretty delicious thing to drink in winter, and I know I'll certainly be wanting to be drinking a lot of it. So once again, fantastic work, Finney. I've never had a bad Emporium beer. Just everything he puts out is delicious. So yeah, this is spot on to style. I think you've got to enjoy it. Really nice to have a beer style that you do not see often around the place. I'm just trying to think of any previous Doppelbocks we've had in our subscription box, but I can't think of any. I'm sure we have, but it will not have been many because there simply aren't many around. Other stuff that we've got going on here at the Fridge and Flagon, we have got the Fresh Hop Festival, which is a week on Saturday, so Saturday 22nd. That's going to be a really brilliant day out. We've got 20 odd different fresh hop beers that we'll be pouring here at the Fridge and Flagon, also over the road at our mates at Galbraith's, and just down the road at our pals at the Lumsden. So it's a festival across 3 different venues. Here at the Fridge and Flagon, we're going to have a taco truck, we're going to have music, and it's just going to be a generally brilliant time. If you want to get more of the fresh hop beers, you should go to the BOTW website and get the fresh hop mixed box. So we've got the full harvest box, which is all 24 of the fresh hop beers that we've curated, and then we've got the Humulus and Lupulus, which are 12 packs. The fresh hop beers are very limited. They always sell out really quickly, so those mixed packs will sell out. If you want to secure some for yourself to have a little beer festival at home, you should probably act quickly. And that is about it from me. I'm going to go and sit and really enjoy the rest of this Doppelbock while I do some writing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of the Beer Jack journey. And thank you, Finney and Laura. Great work. Cheers.